Hola, mi nombre es Karen Julisa Loesa Reyes y actualmente estoy inscrita a la maestría en biomedicina experimental en la Universidad Autónoma Benito Juárez de Oaxaca. Estoy realizando una estancia en la Universidad de Lille 1 en el laboratorio de bioquímica dirigido por el doctor Tony Lefebvre. Estamos realizando un proyecto acerca de la hormonacilación en la vía de inflamación NF-κB y estamos activando esta vía con lipopolisacárido. Para la realización de este proyecto agradezco el apoyo recibido por parte del Consejo Nacional de Ciencia y Tecnología, CONACYT, y de la Red de Glicociencia en Salud dirigida por el doctor Iván Martínez Dunker. A continuación les voy a presentar al doctor Tony Lefebvre, quien es profesor investigador y jefe de equipo de oglunacilación, señalización y ciclo celular.
So, good afternoon. My name is Tony Lefebvre. I am 43 years old. I am professor at the University of Lille 1, professor in biochemistry. So, I am in charge of a team composed of 10 people, and we are more particularly focusing our field of research on the function played by O-gluconacylation, a very short glycosylation, a very mere post-translational modification you can find on nucleocytoplasmic and mitochondrial proteins. And we focus the study of O-gluconacylation on the control of cell cycle, cell signaling, and the etiology of cancer and of metabolic disorders.
Okay, now the questions. What health problem are your work addressed?
So we are more particularly interested in cancer, and especially colorectal cancer, and metabolic disorder, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. Why are we focusing on these two groups of pathologies? Because, as I said, we are interested in O-gluconacylation, and O-gluconacylation is a modification that uses a nucleotide sugar, UDP-glucnac, and UDP-glucnac that gave the glucnac residue for O-gluconacylation processes is at the crossroad of different metabolic pathways. And so we suggest that the emergence of cancer, such as colorectal cancer, but also hepatic cancer and many other, and also obesity, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, are in tight correlation with UDP-glucnac level. If you look at the structure of UDP-glucnac level, you have a funnel where you can find the metabolism of lipids, sugar, of sure, and also of ketogenic and glycogenic amino acid, and also nucleotide. And so we can suggest that according to your comportment, what you eat, if you have a sedentary life, if you make sport, you will have a chance or you will have the disadvantage to develop either kind of cancer, such as colorectal cancer, or obesity, or type 2 diabetes, because O-gluconacylation will regulate or misregulate the most fundamental processes of each cell. So what is very important is to maintain UDP-glucnac and also O-gluconacylation in a lower or high range, so as to not disturb the most crucial function of a cell. We know, for example, in north of France, that we have a problem with junk food, with drive-through foods, and we have, in consequence, a higher proportion of people suffering diabetes and obesity. So what we would like to demonstrate is that cancer emergence can arise from a disturbance of protein expression, of transcriptional or translational levels, and so by modifying the level of UDP-GLUTNAC, the activity also of OGT, the O-GlUTNAC transferase that regulate the O-glutination in all the cell, maybe we will have the chance to correct such problem.
Okay. What is the importance of the study of agglutinasilation?
So, as I said, glutination is very simple at the structural point of view, but it regulates in many cells the most basic function. Glutination is found in animal cells, but it is also found in bacteria, in viruses, in protists, and in many other kinds of organisms. So, knowing how agglutinasilation regulates these different functions in all these cells can let us understand how nutrition impact of your most crucial function. For example, in bacteria, it is known that OGT, that is named GMAR, regulate the flagellar motility. So, knowing how agglutinasilation regulates flagellar motility can help us to block the motility of bacteria and maybe to conceive new antibiotics. Also, we know that many viral proteins are modified by agglutinasilation, capsid protein, tegument protein, and so by modifying interaction between host OGT and viral protein, we can also imagine and design inhibitors of interaction that would decrease the interaction between host OGT and viral protein. So maybe we can fight virus infection. And regarding cancer and metabolic disorders, we can also try to change the metabolism in one kind or another kind of cell, and maybe to reroute the nutrient flux and then to modify activity of OGT or the enzymes that hydrolyzes the O-GlUTNAC moiety, it is named OGA, and so to correct dysfunction in many kinds of cells. It's example of what we can do by knowing best what agglutinasilation make in each your cells.
Okay. And the last question is, do you consider the agreements with other universities are important?
Yes, I think that agreements with other universities are very fundamental for working. We have many collaboration with different university or institute or department quite all over the world, and this is very important to exchange knowledge, to exchange material, to exchange students. And we cannot imagine that research can go on if you are completely isolated in your lab, in your university, and if you have not an outside, how can I say, it's not possible. I think that the classical picture of a researcher alone in its laboratory is completely false, okay? Because you learn with the contact of others. So it's why having contact with Mexican people, having contact with German people or many other people working outside, even in France or abroad, is very, very important if you want to open your mind and also to investigate new therapeutic avenues. As an example, if you want to work on diabetes, it is easier to discuss with Mexico because we know that in Mexico you have a high proportion of people suffering with obesity and with diabetes. If you want to uh, learn about Parkinson or Alzheimer, it's better to discuss and to work with Western societies because we know that in France, in England, in Germany, in many Western countries, in USA, you have many people suffering with neurodegenerative disease. So it's very crucial to have agreement with other university, and all together we can apply for proposal to have money and to join our efforts and to go on and to make very nice discoveries.
Okay, thank you so much.
I don't know if it's enough.
Okay.